Ladies and gentlemen, there is a crisis in Israel. There's a war in the Middle East. And there is a false narrative that the enemy would want you to believe. And when I say the enemy is a spiritual enemy at the end of the day. But yes, we have an enemy. And friends, he has been trying to destroy the Jewish people for thousands of years. Ron Kander, you just had the opportunity to view a private viewing of some of the barbaric footage that taken place over this, October 7th. So let's just start right there, Ron.
Well, today I was in Jerusalem. From what I understand, there's only been a couple hundred people who have seen this footage. The first was journalists. The second was Knesset members. And I was told that people had to be taken to the hospital after viewing this. I was pretty nervous. I asked for prayer. We got to go today because they invited faith-based journalists, and because of my work with God TV, we were able to go. Went in fear and trembling, and Ward, it was the most barbaric thing I've ever seen in my life. It makes uh, Schindler's List look like a G-rated movie. It was horrible.
Wow. I mean, Ron, so yeah, our viewers were really keen to hear some of this stuff. I know it's not fun. It's not something that we're trying to advertise, but we have to really get the correct narrative across because right now, much of the world is saying Israel is the aggressor here.
Right. Well, on October 7th, roughly 3,000 terrorists stormed through our southern border, and the footage shows the happiest people you've ever seen. And I don't mean that in a good way at all. I mean barbarically happy. They went on a shooting spree, killing anything that moved, including pets, humans, children. They killed anything you can imagine. They did, and as they did it, they celebrated. This was not warfare. This was not a military, one military side against another military side. This was a massacre at every level. I've never seen so much blood. I'll just tell you one story. And this was footage that was taken off of the terrorists themselves. They're off of their dead bodies. Many of them came to die. And it was also footage from security cameras, CCTV, and and there was sound in this one piece where a father and his sons at 6:30 in the morning, bombs are going off overhead, and so they're running, and they're in their underwear, and they're because they just woke up, and they're running to their safe room, which is outside for them. It's called a migunit, which is a very small safe room, and they run into that, and then you see the terrorists run in. The first thing they do is they throw a grenade at the door of the safe room that blows up. The father comes stumbling out and they shoot him dead. He just falls down on the ground. And then the two children, they probably were around 8 and 10, young boys, they grab them almost gently and lead them back into the house like they didn't just kill their father. And they put the two kids in the living room, or in the kitchen rather, and the terrorist goes and opens up the refrigerator and looks for something to drink. He grabs it. He actually asked the kid, I don't speak Arabic, but it sounded like he was asking him, what is there to eat? What's there to drink? Like they didn't just kill their dad. And the kids are in absolute shock. They're screaming for their mother, who's not there. They're talking about the fact that their father's dead. The younger brother is blind in one of his eyes, and the other brother's trying to comfort him to find. I mean, the brothers, are you joking? Are you playing? Can you really not see? Meanwhile, the terrorist is drinking Coke. The mother, this is now hours later, security forces have come in. I believe the two young kids, I don't know what happened to them. I don't know if they're safe. I don't think they killed them. They may have taken them to Gaza. I don't know. But security forces bring the mother in, and they go to the safe room and see the father's body on the ground. He's dead. And of course, she just collapsed, and she's just her husband's dead. That's just one thing I saw in about 45 minutes of watching video.
Scott, what would you say to those that are protesting and pulling posters down of hostages. I've heard stories of little 4-year-old by himself. I'm not sure if it was a boy or girl, but parents killed, siblings killed, and that little child taken as a hostage. I mean, what do you say to people that are doing these things?
Yeah, Ward, that question is a gripping one to me. Just hearing Ron speak and these atrocities that are going on in the land of Israel will make any normal person grieve. So, what do you say to people? There are Holocaust deniers still living today who will see the videos and say, "Oh, that never happened." And even today, there are people saying that the Israeli press is magnifying this and it's not really going on. Yet these videos were coming from cameras themselves that were attached to the bodies of these animals. So, Ron, as I'm hearing you speak, and I'm seeing people in the United States pulling down posters of kidnapped people saying this isn't true, this is crazy. As I'm watching news broadcasts of US senators and congressmen and women not making a statement against what is going on, how do we respond? Ward and I are here in the United States. You're in Israel. You're seeing these things firsthand. We're believing them.
Right.
But what do you say to a younger generation who is saying Israel deserves this? This is because of the occupation. This is craziness to me, and I'm feeling my blood boil inside of me and wanting to respond in a godlike way without just getting in the flesh and wanting to rip somebody's head off. We've got to be able to communicate in such a way that although we're speaking truth, we don't back up when the enemy comes at us with lies, because the enemy is a liar and a destroyer. So I'd love to hear your perspective on that. I'm sorry, Ward, if I'm asking a question that maybe you were going to ask, but this was how do you deal with this?
Well, let me first just speak to deniers out there, if there are any watching. Unless you're just going to call me a liar, most people know me. I'm pretty dedicated to truth. I know people, I've met people where their friends or family members are hostages. You understand? There's almost nobody in Israel that isn't connected by 1 or 2 degrees to somebody who is either killed or a hostage. I know people who were killed. I know them. I mean, I know people whose family members were killed. I know a mother, a dear sweet woman named Michal, her son Oded. I know him. I can show you a picture of me and him together 2 weeks ago. He was shot in the side by Hamas. He's now in the hospital. He's 19 years old. Will probably never walk again. For somebody a million miles away to say these things didn't happen when the terrorists themselves videotaped it. I saw a video today of a group of young Israelis from the dance that was in the desert. Most of them were injured or beat up or wounded. One literally was missing his arm from the elbow down. We know who he was, and he was a medic in the army. He did his own tourniquet, probably saving his life. They were just thrown in the back of a pickup truck. The terrorists videotaped that. They're in the truck with them, and they're so happy. This is like I said, they are rejoicing that they have scored this great victory. Well, these are not soldiers; these are kids. They're teens and young adults, and they're just so happy that they're rushing with them back into Gaza. So if anyone's going to deny that this happened, then you have to deny that anything happened, because there is so much proof.